You are now listening to the LanceScurv Show, the boldest spot on internet radio.
This article is from the Rolling Out website. Women using the bisexual card to get likes contaminates dating pool. Conversations like the one we were all exposed to via The Real Housewives of Atlanta with Candy and Portia talking about their bisexual rendezvous have become common in today's dating pool. If you flip through Instagram or any other social media site, you're guaranteed to see pictures of women in suggestive poses with their girlfriends or girlfriends. Women's sexuality is very ambiguous, and there are definitely fewer boundaries than there are when it comes to men. Tarika, 26, says that the recent trend of bisexual or bi-curious women has made dating as a lesbian woman in Atlanta confusing, to say the least. A lot of women are looking to experiment because it's the in thing to do. Tarika says, I don't believe some of them really love women like I do. They just want to appear sexy to their followers online or men they are dating. Tarika considers herself a stud and has never had a male experience. I'm only interested in lesbians that truly love women. I'm not open to threesomes with men or anything like that. Tarika is not alone in her feelings about women who pretend to be bisexual for attention or even for money. A lot of girls are gay for pay if they are in a strip club and that's what their male clientele want to see. There are also women who have been to jail that have been gay for the stay, says Jazz, 27. These girls will have a bisexual sexual experience, but they don't desire the emotional connection with women that a lesbian woman desires. It can be confusing. Women looking to attract attention is one factor, but another factor is women looking to satisfy the desires of their boyfriend or husband. Two girls kissing or the idea of getting a girl that likes girls is a common theme in today's hip-hop music. Sexual icons like Black China and Amber Rose make a point to suggest being bisexual in their pictures and even comments on social media. On Love and Hip Hop's season finale, Peter Gunz suggested he and wife Amina had a threesome with another woman. My boyfriend wanted a threesome for his birthday, so I agreed with the understanding that I had to pick the girl, Shonda says. Shonda doesn't consider herself gay or even bisexual, just suggests that she is open to having fun with her man. Tarika disagrees. Anytime you are engaged in sexual behavior with the same sex, that is considered gay, she contends. One thing is for sure. Today's dating scene is a lot more complicated than your grandmother or even your mother's dating pool. It's 2017, y'all, and it's a different day and age, and these things have always been around, but it's coming to the forefront. You know, just like when guys that race cars, and I'm not too knowledgeable into that, but my buddy Carlos knows so much about it, but he told me about nitrous oxide. When you put it into where the fuel belongs, there's a little button that they can rig and just hit that button and it just the car goes faster. Well, the same thing these days with social media. Sexuality and all things kinky and freaky have always been there, but social media has become the nitrous to drive us to greater heights, and we see things in the open. And our deepest, darkest desires and secrets and activities have come out in the open. And now it's epidemic. Now people that are looking for attention, like I always mention on social media, many people are looking for attention, and they find that they can get a man's attention faster when they put themselves out there as bisexual. But isn't it funny? If a man put himself out there as bisexual, it's like kind of creepy to a lot of women. But I will say from my observations and overheard conversations on the bus, there are a lot of women who are getting into that, and a lot of women who, mark my words, I'm just reporting what I see, y'all, but I see a lot of this. A lot of women are exploring that possibility and that idea of dealing with a man who likes men. So when they think about going down on a man, it turns them on to think about their man going down on that same man together. There's a lot of that stuff on Craigslist, y'all. This is a sexual type of conversation, and not conversation because I'm talking about myself, but it's a dialogue. I want to start the commentary, and that's what it is. But there's a flip side. I looked into comments on this particular article, and there's someone here named The Bicast. That's their name, okay? And it was interesting what they said. Here's one of the responses. It's articles like this that make our bisexual lives so miserable. It reinforces so many false stereotypes. We already have suicide and rapes statistics on top of mental health disparities that are shocking. We are tired of the media sensationalizing and clickbaiting our orientation for profit. Not one mention in this article about the validity of our orientation and its unique issues, or the huge amount of biphobia we face, and mostly from the gay and lesbian community. This type of irresponsible writing affects our youth in the most negative way. They already face bullying, non-acceptance, and suicidal ideation. This adds fuel to the fire. We demand reasonable representation from the media. And they dropped the link right there. I'll probably try to drop it in the down below so you can see it. But I couldn't make this conversation without mentioning that article, that response. And in actuality, it was that response that made me push this article out there. Because, there's a flip side to all of this. There are many people who have been raped and molested and bullied and ostracized, and there is that flip side, and I will agree. I'm a straight man, but I know many people who are bisexual, male and female. My dealings in that way, I've had many bisexual girlfriends back in the past, and kind of understood what a lot of them go through. We've had conversations on deeper levels. I'm not saying yay or nay at this point in my life. It is what it is. But most men out here, they do. Most men who are out here and just having a good time and just wanting to have experiences, they do seem to appear to favor a woman who has no problem with them having another woman or bringing another woman in their bedroom. They look at that as desirable. They look at that as, well, this computer has 2 USB jacks, inputs, but that computer has 15. It has more, so let's get that one. It's the same price. So it from a straight woman's point of view, okay, it's got to be daunting because now, not only with the down low situation and a lot of our brothers, that are gay, that they feel that the numbers are diminishing, and those who are incarcerated and those who are just drugged out, those who are undesirable because they have no vision or no dream or no motivation. And they turn around and say, oh no. Now all of a sudden we got to worry about these bisexual women who are appearing more attractive to these men who could be there for us. But then again, my sisters, do you want a man who could be that fickle, that he'll choose you or not choose you because you won't get down with certain activity? See, I'm a man, so I'm speaking from that angle, and I'm quite sure that this subject, this topic, is something that we can speak on from so many different angles. So this conversation is not the end all. I'm probably going to upload this video and say, man, I forgot to bring up that point, and I forgot to bring up this point. Of course, we're going to have many who come and say, well, this is an abomination. It shouldn't be happening, but it is happening. At LanceScurv, we talk about everything. Whether it's pretty or whether it's messy or whether it's what some people would say wrong, if it's something that most people shy away from, I go to it. And I enjoy talking about and making people think about things that most of us sweep under the rug. But social media has pulled the rug back and we are seeing things. And I do notice that also, that many women are open, especially the younger women are more open to put that out there. And it is somewhat of a exhibitionistic type of mindset that you have. Well, I'm with and they're tonguing each other and all this. And really, is it to appear more desirable to men in general? Some men think it's disgusting. Some men, that's all they're looking for. Once they have a taste of that, And yes, in the past, for many years, I've had a great taste of that. I didn't start out as having a taste for that, but I've dealt with people who introduced me into that world when I was much younger. And what do you think? What do you expect a guy who's full of testosterone and healthy and out there and young? What do you expect him to think or do? But overall, just like the young lady said, and I'm assuming this is the young lady who wrote that comment to the article, there's a flip side to it. There is a lot of pain involved. There is a lot of hurt involved. And, the attention seeking thing is what kind of bothers me when I see our sisters out there just parading themselves out as sexual objects and will do anything. I'm not saying they're degrading themselves and knocking anybody else for feeling they are who they are, but those who are not, who are just out there, well, I'm going to come with this gimmick now or take this picture on social media and see how many likes. Because most men out here are not going to refuse a threesome with two women. They're not going to do it. 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, the more the better. Most have never experienced that. Most don't know what that's like on a regular basis over a period of years. So most are just coming along for the ride. They just want the icing, but they don't want the cake. And there is a lot of, like I said, pain. There are a lot of people out here who are suffering on so many different levels, but they're putting themselves out there. You got to really be looking for attention to really put yourself out there like that if you're not like that. So my thing is, this requires really a live show. I want to have call-ins. I want to have people calling in and sharing their opinion. This is nothing I could just rant on. It could be just so complete. But really, the media, social media, Hollywood, the entertainment industry, I'm wondering why they're pushing this so much now. And you have two black women in the Real Housewives of Atlanta, all of a sudden, Candy and Portia talking about their little rendezvous. And I'm quite sure you heard it. I would have loved to play it, but they'll probably block the video if I play the actual dialogue from the show for copyright reasons, right? But you can. I'm going to look for a link. If you can find a link to that part, a video, just drop it in the bottom. But I really think that there's an agenda. And I have to also correct, my stance on many of the videos that I've done in the past, right? When I say the gay agenda or the homosexual agenda. And many gays, lesbians, bisexuals, and transgenders have reached out to me and said, Lance, I don't know of any agenda. I'm not part of any agenda. I didn't go out there to make anybody gay. I'm just living my life. Well, let me give an addendum and an apology for the misunderstanding. When I say gay agenda, I don't mean the majority of people out here who may be in the LGBT community. What I mean is that there are a few, which may not be a few, it could be hundreds, it could be thousands, but people in a position of power who want to focus on the black community especially and get into our heads, get into our minds. Now, media and television, they can't make you gay. I understand that. You are who you are. But what about the curious? What about those who are riding the fence that if the wind just blew a little bit, they'd find themselves on one side of the fence or the other? Those are the people who that would affect. And it can't make you anything, but it make you experiment into things and catch you up in activity that otherwise you may not have been interested in indulging in. Could you imagine way back in the day? And I always like to think about this. Not that I like to think about this, but this is an example that I always use. Social media makes it easy for people to have affairs, to jump in a sack with each other, to say things that they wouldn't usually say. You don't even have to show your face. You can put things out there like on Craigslist and, throw it out there like a worm with a hook and wait for the bite. If it doesn't happen, you keep doing it, you'll find somebody who's in the same kink that you're into. But could you imagine way back? Let's go back a couple hundred years. We're not talking about slavery. We're not talking about who's in power. Just regular, a regular society, which there's nothing called a regular society, but a society that did not have social media and these things to accelerate our thoughts. When a man had a thought about a woman, it was like she was a million miles away, even if she lived across the street, because he had to communicate certain things to her, whether it's a man wanting a woman wanting a man. So imagine a man coming up with the idea of being in bed with two women. How would he approach a woman like that? First, he had to get to her. Then it took time. So to me, again, social media and access to all of this stuff and the exposure to all of this stuff accelerates something that really wouldn't have been there before. And it's not a good thing. We're so preoccupied. We all are sexual beings. We all are social beings. You know, that's why they call it social media. It's supposed to be social, but it's replacing the real face-to-face contact, the real touch, the real looking into the eyes of someone. FaceTime on a phone doesn't count, damn it. A live stream on a YouTube video doesn't count. There's something about going to lunch with someone and not worrying about the time and sitting down and eating and enjoying a meal and taking a walk afterward and watching the sun go down and truly connecting. This is something that we're missing. And in this day and age, the connections that many of us have are not real. Not because we can't or haven't seen the person face to face, but we invest only but so much into it, and we don't value it as much. So when you see a profile picture of a busty, little waistline having big round derriere having woman, ladies, when these guys come at you, do you think they really love you for you? When you put it out there that you're available for all types of decadence that you're not really into, do you think that that's going to make that man love you anymore? And, you know, it's almost like we are so confused. We have no direction. We have no morals and we have no values. We have no limit to what we'll do for attention. And the lower we go, the more decadent we go, the filthier we get, we find ourselves further and further lost in the abyss of loneliness.
Make sure to check out the boldest blog at LanceScurv.com and follow Scurv on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube under LanceScurv.